Hello everyone, Black Emerald here, and welcome to the first of, hopefully several, Scarlet and Violet team showcases. Now these are not necessarily themed teams, however some of them may have some theming to them, much like the Honey Community team that I did some time ago. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link in the description. You can go ahead and check it out when you have a chance. I think it's worth a watch. But I have gone around and asked friends and people I know to give me a, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet team, and the attempt is to try and, make it work and maybe try to get a win or two with them. That said, let's go ahead and get into our first team of the, series. All right, so let's go ahead and start this off with our first team of the collection. This is going to be the Honey Mitsubachi Community theme team. So we have, as with the Kanekahimari team, we've got our stand-ins for various members. We have got Honey Mitsubachi stand-in as Vespiquen. I've went ahead and gone and made Divine Melon and Appleton, because there are no, as far as I've been able to tell, melon-themed Pokemon. So there is that. Then we've got Flora Mamori. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly, because I'm admittedly dumb. Then we have Nameless, NDS Rex, and of course the return of Black Emerald the Tyranitar, because how could I not? I mean, I'm just as much a part of the community as, everyone else, and unfortunately there's a large portion of the community that, if I could have a team of, say, 12, I absolutely would have had 12, but these were the ones that more or less I genuinely see the most often hanging out. So I will go ahead and do a team breakdown at the end to kind of show you my thinking and movesets and stuff. And yeah. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start getting into the battles. Okay, so we've got our first battle here against Rizzo, and they're going to lead this whole thing off with their Azumarill, whereas I've chosen to go with NDS Rex the Whimsicott. Now, any Azumarill can be a real pain in the butt if it's allowed to set up, and this one was no different with that Quick Claw item. So I went ahead and hit it with chose to hit it with the Leech Seed, just to try and scare it out of there, because I don't want to deal with that. That thing is a threat. Thankfully, though, I do carry Prankster, so it doesn't matter. That Quick Claw really didn't matter much. So there we go. We got the Leech Seed doing its job, giving me some health back. And next thing is just I want to get the Tailwind set up, because I want to try to make sure that my stuff can hit fast and hard. So they're going to go ahead and take out the Azumarill and switch in the Hisuian Goodra, which this is a threat as well, because I've got nothing to properly counter this. But I go ahead and I set up the Tailwind, and I figure, well, before I go down, I'll go ahead and set the Leech Seed up one more time, because this isn't living against this. So they're going to go ahead and use the Flash Cannon, which is going to go ahead and absolutely nuke my Whimsicott. But it did its job. It did what it was supposed to. So now we can go ahead and switch into... I had a hard choice here because I didn't have anything that could really, really hurt it. But I settled on going with Divine Melon, or Appleton, because it does carry Body Press, which will actually hurt this thing a lot. But being half dragon, I had to go ahead and use my Terrastal right here, because otherwise I'm going to eat huge damage. So the hope is that I could get my Iron Defense set up enough to where Body Press is going to absolutely just, do huge, huge damage. Now, I do eat the Dragon Pulse here, which thankfully I Terrastaled to kind of mitigate some of that damage. But it wasn't quite enough, I don't think. Now, the Leech Seed, once again, doing absolute work. And with one Iron Defense set up, figured, okay, maybe now is the time we... Oh, that's right. I was setting up more Iron Defenses. It's been a bit since this battle. This battle was like a few days ago. But setting up the Iron Defense here, and once again, body press would have done some serious damage here. And a Glamora, as I've learned very easily, very quickly, is a threat in and of itself, too. And I wasn't expecting special Glamora. But that just absolutely wipes him off the board, unfortunately. So, next thought here was we go into Flora. Because that way, grass poison's not going to do near as much damage. Now, this battle did not go quite the way I particularly wanted it to. I will say that now. But they're going to go ahead and set up the Stealth Rocks, which hazards in any situation are bad. But I'm going to go ahead and pop the Growth here. I would have liked to have had the Sunny Day up, so that way Growth would have actually done more. But I had to kind of roll with what I had. And they popped Reflect, which makes me wonder, do people run physical Vileplumes? But go ahead and I pop it with the Giga Drain, which absolutely wipes it out. Brings me, well, back up to, I don't know if it's full or very close to full, but brings me back up. And here's where things kind of started to go sideways. Because I didn't realize this thing was as fast as it was. Then again, though, if I was running an actual competitive team, that probably wouldn't have been quite as big of a threat. But that Bitter Blade absolutely just rolled me off the board. So, the return of Black Emerald the Tyranitar to battle. And I probably need to switch out the Unnerve for Sandstream, honestly. But going with the Dragon Dance here, because Ghost-type attacks are not going to do quite as much to me. Figure if I can get the speed up and the attack up, I can start to, wipe stuff off the board here. But they took that chance to go ahead and swap it out, I guess fearing the crunch right off the rip. And they bring back in the Azumarill. And this, oh man, this did not go the way I wanted. I probably should have Dragon Danced one more time. But, hindsight's 20/20. So, they are actually going to get, I believe, the Quick Claw activation and hit me with something, like, I think it was Aura Sphere, it was? Yeah, the Thunder Punch didn't take it out because Azumarill is, like, thick. Oh, no, it was Brick Break. Which, that makes for a good, like, Tyranitar Buster or Dark Buster of any sort. So, next, I go ahead and I decide to switch into Nameless the Tinkaton here. And this one mimics, back from the first, like, theme team I did, this mimics the previous Tinkaton for Embakening. Almost down to the stats. And I didn't think I should have hit it with, because I thought Gigaton Hammer would take it out, but I really should have hit it with the knockoff, because that would have prevented exactly what just happened here, I think. Although, that is, I believe, Aqua Jet or Waterfall 1. And I've completely forgotten. So I just throw out poor Honey, the Vespiquen here. Our wonderful Tyrant Bee who took serious damage coming in. Yeah, as I said, this battle did not go the way I wanted it to. I tried to go for the dual wing beat, but I wasn't getting anything. So, unfortunately for us, this battle has ended in a loss. So, thank you, Rizzo, for the battle. I made some pretty dumb plays there. Now, our next one here is up against David. That was a bit of a quicker transition than I wanted to. Now, he's going to go ahead and lead off with Gengar, and once again, NDS Rex. Now, Gengars are threats all on their own. But I thought maybe I would have this team, but, was I wrong. So we're going to go ahead and pop the Tailwind here just to try and get our team's speed up. And as predicted, it's going to go for any sort of poison attack, which would have absolutely ruined this thing had I not been running the Focus Sash. So, next I go ahead and I pop the Leech Seed, because if I'm going to go down, I'm at least going to go down, getting this thing getting some chip damage eventually. And it pops the Thunder Wave, and I thought, was it expecting me to swap? Or was it just thinking I was faster? So, Leech Seed does what it does best. Gives me some health back, and I'm thinking I'm not going to be able to do much. I can't do anything else, really, so I'm just going to go ahead and pop. I thought I was going to pop the Tailwind, but sitting here looking at this, that's what I would have done. But nope, we're switching out to Nameless the Tinkaton. So they are going to go with Shadow Ball here, which isn't going to do much, because there's a troll that lives inside of me that makes me build like teams that you would not expect. So going with the knockoff, because I don't know what kind of items it's holding. And that almost took it out, but I don't think it was holding anything. So it pops me with the Shadow Ball again, of course, and once again, Leech Seed just absolutely finishes this thing off. So, still not sure what they're bringing in next. Just, this person took forever at various times, it felt like. Though, then again, when you have, like, as many battles as I had with this team, everything starts to feel like forever. Alright, so switching in the Cerulege here. And my first thought was, I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. I'm going to go ahead and hit it with the knockoff because I don't know what it's holding. And my dumb luck, it has weak armor. Which lowers its defense, yes, but raises its speed tremendously. And that just... These things do hit like trucks when they're built correctly. But I could not let that thing just sit out there. So, wasn't much I could do here. Like because maybe I could just set up the Tailwind again. Because this thing, or set up Leech Seed in this case. Because the Whimsicott's done its job. Rex has done his job. And that it's not going to get much health back out of that anyway. So, go ahead and just sack off the Whimsicott. And I believe now is the moment I go into the Tyranitar. Because it's like, okay, 3 of these are weak to fire. We got the Tyranitar. Let's just do this. And again, I really need to set up... I need to give it Sandstream instead of Unnerve. But I wasn't going to let this thing continually sit here on the board. So, with 1 defense drop already, I figured Crunch should just about take this out. And they switch. I was like, well, crap. It was when this thing came out, my immediate thought was, I should have went with the Dragon Dance. I should have gone with Dragon Dance. But I didn't. And I pay for it. I pay for it very, very majorly. Because now is like the turn 2 late Dragon Dance. And I made a dumb play here, and I went with the Iron Head coming up when I should have gone with Crunch. Because I was toast either way. But I went with Iron Head without thinking, and I should have went with Crunch instead. Because not only would the Rough Skin have taken me out, I would have taken the Garchomp out as well pretty quickly. And what I brought in next was going to have a better chance of surviving. So, going ahead and bringing in Honey here. And that pressure's a wonderful ability. But going with the Defend order because I was hoping that maybe I could make this thing bulky enough to survive. Because it raises both your defense and your special defense. But, spoiler alert, it does not help. Because I didn't get to use it. That thing carries Rock Slide. I probably should have just went straight into Flora instead of putting out Honey, but yeah, you know, again, hindsight is 20/20. So I kind of waffle here for a second. It's like I could set up the Sunny Day, but no, let's just go ahead and hit it with the Giga Drain. That's going to take it. That'll take it out the rest of the way. And Flora living that outrage. You wouldn't think it, but Vileplume's bulkier than most people give it credit for. So, yeah, we got two of them down. We got the Gengar down. We got the Garchomp down. And I believe at this given point, yeah, here comes the Mewtwo. And I'm pretty sure this is the 7-star Terror Raid Mewtwo that everyone got. And, of course, the first warning I should have had that this was about to go south anyway was the fact that it was named Goku. That should have been my first indication. So, once again, this battle doesn't go quite the way I wanted it to, but the vast majority of them didn't. These two are two of, like, the better, like, losing battles I had. Some of them were pretty, bad. Just, like, legendary spammers out the ears. So, yeah, poor Flora goes down to that Psy Strike. And the only thing I've got left is Divine Melon. And, this, yeah, so again, spoiler alert, this does not go well either. I should have went with the Giga Drain, not the Apple Acid, to be fair. But I thought maybe I wouldn't take near as much damage. Although, to be fair, I probably could have done the Iron Defense, and that might have actually saved me a couple of turns. To where I could have then hit it with the Giga Drain. But we'll never know. Because Divine Melon absolutely got blown away. So, there's our second battle of the video against David. Once again, thank you, David, for the battle. That was fun, even though I got my butt handed to me. And now our third battle here, which, once again, quicker transition than I expected. But, oh well, is against Edison. And he's going to lead it up with Glamora. Or, as again, I'm going to lead it up with NDS Rex. Now, this one, I expected this one to be a loss as well. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pop the Tailwind. And it's going to go with Mortal Spin, which, if I remember correctly, I believe that actually works like Rapid Spin and clears hazards off the board. So it was a good thing I didn't pop hazards. So my first thought here was just, no, let's get the Vileplume in there. It's like, I've done this once already. I can do this again. So we're gonna switch into Flora. And they switched out the Glamora, which shocked me a little bit. I expected them to stay in, but I guess the Glamora is just a support Glamora. So, yeah, there was no way under the sun I was staying in versus Volcarona. So I go ahead and I switch out to Nameless the Tinkaton. And this is why I like, this is why I like, or there's a reason I like Tinkatons the way I've built them. But this thing goes for the Quiver Dance, which is like, I know exactly what you're doing, but I'm still ever slightly faster. And this battle, once again, like all the rest, felt like it took forever. But yeah, there it is, the Stone Edge. I'm like, oh, thank heavens it hit. So that Volcarona is just absolutely just destroyed. Don't get me wrong, a good Volcarona can eat hits. But, that was unfortunate. So, I was actually very, very terrified of the Miraidon he has on his team. The good old Violet Legendary. And I was scared. It's like, okay, is he about to bring that thing out? Is my Tinkaton about to get absolutely rolled? Because he took forever deciding. And I did. I started to worry, and I also started to worry that he was going to disconnect. But nope, in comes the Mimikyu. So I took a look at this. No, I don't know what you're carrying, but we'll go ahead and because it was just like a Mimikyu allowed to set up and get going is a terrifying thought all on its own. So, of course, I use knockoff to go ahead and get rid of its item and break its disguise. Because I'm not going to let this thing continue to sit there and just absolutely ruin me. So I thought it was... I didn't realize it was going to Terrastal. But they pop their Terra. I'm like, oh, or is this thing going to be Terra Fairy or something? No, it's good old Terra Ghost. So I guess they expected the Gigaton Hammer. Which, that was a good play by them. Like, I was absolutely setting up the Gigaton Hammer. But they went out of their way to try and make that Mimikyu hit like a truck. Which I fully commend them for. But here I thought, well, I'll just pop my Terra. And, you know, we'll... kind of, because I was thinking they're probably going to hit me with something else. And they carry Shadow Sneak, which that is a very like typical thing, is to build up the melee on a Mimikyu and then hit him with Shadow Sneak and such. But this this Tinkaton plays no games. This Tinkaton is a tank. So we go ahead and hit it with the knockoff just to get that, just to make sure that we do get rid of it. I could have hit it with anything else. I mean, anything else. But I thought, no, this is a guaranteed kill right here. So again, you know, they're taking their sweet time picking what they're going to throw out there next, and it's just like, oh, what now? What are we up against? And then the Glamora comes back in. And of course, it's like, okay, I'm not going to survive this. So let's just go ahead and hit it with... I thought I was going to hit it. Yeah, I'm hitting it. Yeah, Gigaton Hammer, because I figured, you know, this will, you know, probably do a lot of damage. No, it absolutely wipes it off the board. I was shocked. And that's partly because I've run into a number of Glamora that are not quite what you would expect. And then they bring in the Quackavon. I'm like, okay, I can go ahead and hit it with a Play Rough. And it misses. Which, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, this is going to cost me. This is not going to go well, because the Aqua Step absolutely just waylays the Tinkaton. And not only that, it's got Moxie, which only makes it stronger. So, but that was only my first one going down, so I was like, okay, I might be able to salvage this, so I throw out Flora. Because the hope was, maybe I can scare this out, and I pop the Sunny Day to weaken its Aqua Step if I'm able to. But, of course, they switch out. So, I'm very much hoping that, like, you know, and, of course, they bring in their Miraidon. It's like, oh, crap, here we go. But it's Koraidon that I need to worry about the Sunny Day with. So the hope was I could go ahead and pop Sunny Day and get the growth going, so that way maybe I could do some serious damage to this thing. And it pops Dragon Pulse. So, okay, because I was expecting it to do something entirely different. It's like, okay, well, I'm not beating this. There's no way I'm beating this. And of course, it pops it again, and the Vileplume goes down. So Flora didn't get to do much except set up Sunlight and try to get stronger. So my next thought was, well, let's go ahead and go back into Rex here. I might be able to, you know, set up the Tailwind, set up the Leech Seed. So I go ahead and start with the Leech Seed, because if I can just sap health off this thing, you know, give it some chip damage. And it goes with the Electro Drift, and I really hoped I would have lived that, but Whimsicott aren't exactly all that bulky. So, yeah, down goes Rex. Rex did good. And here I was like, okay, maybe I could? Maybe this is where, like, Honey can shine? So, with hope in my heart, I toss out Honey, hoping that maybe, just maybe, I can do something, anything. But I know Miraidons often carry Power Gem. But nope, Electro Drift, because why not hit with a supercharged stab attack? So right here was where I was like, okay, this is not going to go the way I want it to. This is very, very unfortunate. And then the electric terrain goes away. So my first thought is, okay, maybe we have a chance, but I'm not expecting this to go the way I want. So I pop the Tyranitar. I'm like, okay, we're going to Dragon Dance. If I can survive the one, maybe we can hit it. And he pops Dragon Pulse. So I'm sitting there thinking, it's like, okay, maybe. And I was like, okay, I want to do one more Dragon Dance. This will tell me if I'm faster or not. And I forgot it was seeded. So, of course, the good old leftovers doing their job, and then Leech Seed coming in clutch there at the end. So, I go ahead and I pop a second Dragon Dance. Like, if I'm faster, great. If not, one more should make me faster. And, of course, he goes for the Electro Drift. And I lived. I was very, very shocked. So, of course, Dragon Dance. 2 boosts to speed and 2 boosts to physical attack. I cannot speak today. So, again, leftovers and Leech Seed coming in clutch, just wearing this thing down. And I'm like, I'm not messing around. I'm going for the stab crunch. And it doesn't take it out. I'm like, oh no. I thought, right here's where things turn and go sideways. Like, Tyranitar goes down, I am very scared that things are about to get ugly. It's like, okay, all I've got left is Divine Melon. I've used my Terastal. I don't know what I'm going to do here. And it's just like, you know, I'm sitting there and it's like, okay, you know, I'm just going to hit him with the Body Press. It's going to do the most damage out of all my moves. And he hits me with the Dragon Ball Stomp. And I was so ready to see him faint. It's like, Citrus Berry coming in clutch, followed by hitting him with Body Press. It's like, and then the Leech Seed. And I looked, it's like, I'm going to turn this around. It's gone. Because if he threw out the Quackaball, I knew for a fact I was going to be able to survive. And he throws out the Milotic, which those can be some serious walls if you're not careful. And I was just confused. Like, I don't know what it was thinking. And it makes an even goofier play here, you know, using Coil. Like, it's Guts or something to where, I think it's a Guts set. Does Milotic get Guts? I don't fully remember it. But it pops Recover. Well, again, I'm popping Giga Drain just to get my health back, because if I can get more health, I can survive that Quackaball or whatever this thing can throw at me. And right here is where they start making the play with Coil. It's like, you're almost dead. Why would you do that? That raises physical attack, physical defense, and accuracy. And it's like, why? Why? So, of course, Giga Drain absolutely wipes the floor with it. And it's like, okay, all that's left is the Quackaball. That thing can't touch me. Had I not used my Terra earlier, I probably would have either used Terra Ground on Tyranitar or Terra Grass on Divine Melon here. But it just absolute close combat, and that may have been what sealed my victory. Because I popped up the apple acid thinking I just gotta bring its defenses down, and it did it for me, which brings us the actual victory with the Honey Community team. So once again, thank you, Edison, for the battle. That was fun. Okay, so now to go ahead and get to the team breakdown here. So leading us off here, this is the right here we've got the Honey Mitsubachi Community theme team, and starting here we've got our Vespiquen Honey, who I went ahead and went with like max health, max special defense, because I wanted it to be tanky and be able to eat hits, but as we saw, that didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. So it was max health, max special defense, careful nature, because Vespiquen already has pretty good like physical defense, so I thought maybe I could bump the special just a little bit, and leftovers to give it some sustainability, but yeah, that didn't quite work out. We had attack order, defend order, dual wing beat, and roost. The plan was if I could get enough defense orders up to where Honey would live, I could pop the roost, but unfortunately, that abysmal speed of 116 was not, and this is like at max stuff, so I should have, I realized after the fact that I should have used some hyper training on them, but again, hindsight is 20/20. Next up, we've got good old Divine Melon here, who I didn't get the proper ability, I don't think, because the options were either Ripen, Gluttony, or Thick Fat. Ripen, just whenever it eats certain berries, the effects are doubled, which probably would have actually been really good with the citrus berry. Gluttony, if it's half or less, it would eat its berry instead of the usual, like 1/4. And then, of course, Thick Fat reduces the damage from fire and ice type attacks. And being, Grass Dragon, that was going to be, like, pretty good. And I forgot to go through and, like, actually do some of this. So this one's partly on me. But I gave him max HP, max special attack, because I wanted to really lean into that special attack stat of his, because Apple Acid, Giga Drain, both of those are really good. And because he's got a decent defense stat already. The Iron Defense Body Press, I had hoped would actually be a lot more useful, but unfortunately, not quite so much. But yeah, he did shine in several different cases. Not as much as I would have liked, though. Then, of course, we've got the return of Black Emerald the Tyranitar. Now, I don't, because this is an older one from like the original, or the first theme team I did. I didn't remember any of the stats that he was supposed to have. So I got the attacks, but I really should have given him Sandstream. I don't know why I gave him a Nerve, honestly. And we went with max physical attack and max speed, because I really wanted him to stand a chance to outspeed and actually hurt stuff. Plus, that gave Dragon Dance something to, kind of properly boost, if you will. But of course, max attack, max speed, adamant nature, because I really wanted to lean into that physical attack. I could have done Jolly to lean into the speed, and it would have done I think it would have done just as good. But yeah. So then we move on here to Nameless the Tinkaton. Now this is where kind of like that troll inside me resides, because I gave it max attack, max defense, adamant nature with like 4 points into speed, because it's already got some okay speed. But because it also has some decent special defense, but it has, because if we dial this back, you can see it's got, not so great physical defense comparatively, which is why, max physical defense, because then it can eat some attacks. And then with the Assault Vest, it just takes advantage of that special defense and kind of bumps it just that little extra, so it can survive a little more and hit it with any one of these. And of course, Assault Vest has the, its thing is like, its special defense is 1.5 times, but it can only use damaging moves. So you cannot have a setup Tinkaton. You have to have effectively just a glass cannon. And that's kind of what I built, like both Nameless and the embaconing Tinkaton to B were glass cannons. And as you saw, that like Tinkaton does some work if you've got it built correctly. Although, still. Now moving on here, we've got Flora Memoria, the Vile Plume. Now this one I wanted to try because I got to doing some look and it's like, oh, well, this one isn't actually half terrible. Like the speed's, kind of so it could have stood like some points in speed. It doesn't have like the greatest of special defense or the greatest of like physical defense, but it's still bulkier or it's still tankier than like most people would think for like a grass type. So I tried to give it the extra health, like the max health, max special attack, modest nature, just to try and like give it some more survivability and let it actually like, level stuff. The idea was that like you could pop Sunny Day, pop Growth, and then Giga Drain or Sludge Wave would absolutely just waylay anything that got in your way. And then finally, our wonderful NDS Rex, our Whimsicott with Prankster, Tailwind, Poison Powder, Leech Seed, Protect. Now, I did not get to use Poison Powder, and there was never any reason to use Protect, but the goal was, like, if I had something that I could, hit with Leech Seed and hit with Poison Powder, then I could just Protect one turn, let the damage, just constant tick damage, or chip damage, and eventually it would just, whatever you were up against would eventually just wither away. But I tried to make it as defensive as possible, just so that way I didn't always use up the Focus Sash. So, max health, max defense, bold nature, because, you don't need attack too much when you're running a Prankster set. And it had Prankster, Infiltrator, and Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll would have been nice if I was running like a Sun team. An Infiltrator, that's one of those that, it goes through, substitutes, reflects, light screen, all that fun stuff. So an Infiltrator Whimsicott could be a nightmare, but everyone kind of runs the Prankster Whimsicott. So yeah, that is all of the team right there. Thank you for watching the video. I'm glad y'all took some time out of your day to drop in and give it a quick view. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button, and if you really like it, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with any streams and videos that I have in the future. And have a nice rest of your day.